Hi, namaste, mero naam Sara Parker. My name's Sarah. I'm from Liverpool John Moores University and I've been working in Nepal for the past 30 years. First came in 1986 and then I've been coming back almost every year since 92. I'm a reader of development studies at Liverpool John Moores, geography and sociology. And I did my PhD here in between 98 and 2005 on non-formal education and women. A lot of the research that I've done has been on education, child-friendly learning and kind of gender-based violence. And after the earthquake there was an increase in gender-based violence and vulnerability of women. And in researching that and talking to the women, we found that one of the key issues that women wanted and a way that was being neglected was providing menstrual products. Known Beni, who's featured here, so where's Beni? Beni's down there. For more than 10 years, so I've seen her organisation grow. And basically Beni's story in a nutshell is she ran away from a forced marriage, started working with women, making things out of recycled products, which are all in this shop, absolutely amazing, paying a fair price, but using recycled rubbish. And she'd started before the earthquake to make freedom kits, which are kits inside which contain rewashable menstrual products. We try to call them menstrual products now, not sanitary products, because we don't want to focus on the fact that it's like linked to dirt. It's much more positive to say menstrual products because that's what you're managing, your period. And there's lots of different kits. So after the earthquake and writing about the gender-based violence, Beni and a couple of other small NGOs asked us to do an evaluation of the impact of these products. Because it's okay giving them out and saying girls go in school, it helps them stay in school, because one of the key reasons girls are staying out of school during their periods is there's no clean toilets, there's no products to manage them. Different places in Nepal, it's very complex, you can't generalise. Different communities, it's very different what they have access to depending on where they live, how remote they are, their culture, their traditions, their religion. And I'm doing a massive project at the moment, following on from the sanitary pads, called Dignity Without Danger. And this is looking at the cultural taboos in all 7 provinces. More will be coming on this next year, all of the outputs. But the research started with looking at doing an evaluation of these kits. So in this amazing bag, which in itself is really beautiful, recycled saris, there's a whole load of products which gives the women complete kit that they need. Now they may have been using their old lungis. I wear a lungi all the time. The women rip them up and use them in the knickers to manage their periods. Some women free bleed. I don't want to overemphasize the negative side of the traditions in the far west of sleeping in the cowshed, because not all women sleep in cowsheds. It's only a very small part of Nepal. But most women face cultural stigmas and taboos. So to have a pretty product made of recycled material that contains lots of different things. And one of the things with Beni's kits compared to some of the others is it includes 2 pairs of knickers. So there's no point having pads if you don't wear knickers. So you get a couple of pairs of knickers. If you don't usually wear knickers, then they say don't wear them apart from when you're menstruating, so that they last longer. And then into the knickers goes this clip. So it's a clip system. Really important. When they were first made, people were using metal pads and they rust. Very important that they've got this plastic coating. Inside here there's 3 layers, and the bottom layer is a antibacterial plastic. Again, really important they're made correctly. We met people who made them and they put the plastic the wrong way around, so it wasn't really effective. And the cool thing about these ones, and they were tested out with all the women, is that the pads you get, you can put in as many or as few depending on how heavy or light you are. You can put more in at night. These come out and get washed. Now when you go to school, there may not be clean toilets and water at the school. Hopefully they are. There's a lot of work going on to promote that. But you also get a little bar of soap. You only get it once and it's just a stress. You've got to keep your hands clean. And the other thing that came out of our research was that you have to make sure that you're washing and drying the pads if the women aren't washing and drying them, and in the far west, women were drying them underneath the mattresses, and you can imagine the fungal infections. So Green Tara is a health NGO, so they came at menstrual health from a health perspective. Beni comes at it from products and education, and then I've got a really good blog that I'll send the link to give some more information on that, because I could talk about it all day. But in the kit you also have a really small little bag, and they usually have decorations on as well, because then you can put your dry pads in here to keep them nice and cute. No one needs to know what they are. And then when they're wet, if there's nowhere to wash them at school, then you can just put your wet pad, once it's used, into there to take home to wash discreetly. But really importantly, periods are nothing to be ashamed of, and that's one of the things that a lot of NGOs are working towards. So there's no point just giving out the kit unless it comes with education. Now Beni uses this book, which is in Nepalese. It's produced in Nepal. It's really simple, really cheap, and absolutely gives examples about growing up for girls and boys. It talks about pimples, it talks about being teased, talks about being moody, and then it moves on to talk about the importance of product. And it emphasises that yes, you can have rewashable ones, but there's also use and throw, which are environmentally not great, but people need to have the choice. Since the work we were doing, the menstrual cup's also starting to be introduced into Nepal. But I wouldn't recommend that anyone came in for a short period of time and started distributing the cup. I think if you're going to do the menstrual cup, it has to be from local NGOs who are working with the women, because you have a lot more questions about, does it break your virginity? Is it appropriate? How to keep it clean? So these kits are really good entry point. It talks about your body, includes boys, and there's a whole pack of other educational material that we're putting together. So we want to have in every school, ideally, a menstrual box, so that when you're learning about menstruation and sexual and reproductive health, you can go there and read comics, Nepali books, science books. One thing which we've been testing out, where's it gone? Because our research in 2017 and 18, in our interviews, we realised that women didn't know where to put products. So we were talking about tampons, and people were looking at them and saying, well, where does it go? And that was like, wow, okay, rewind. So one of the woman in Barcelona, who's a chiropractor, now does a lot of work around the pelvic floor, gave me this piece of equipment, and you get out the pieces. You can use this and take this with you if you find it useful. It's here, you can borrow it. There's the uterus, but you get it out. Normally we get out this first and we ask people what that is, and the kids usually say the heart, and then when they open it, the kids in class 10 have said no, it can't be the heart because it's not got 4 valves. Then we get out the other piece. This bag needs thinking about so that things are easy to get hold of. And then we usually uncover these 3 key pieces. So you have the colon, not the uterus, the bladder, and the uterus. And that helps explain to women, not just here. I've had friends and people in the UK go, wow, that's really cool. You've got 3 things that come out of your body, so you've got 3 separate holes. And especially when you're thinking about menstruation and purity, I use this example, and when you get this out, you can have a lot of fun with this when they don't know what it is, because it looks a little bit rude. So you can say, no, it's not bida, it's vitra. It's not outside your body, it's inside your body. And then you have this amazing bone model, which I'd never seen until last year. And you can then work out where the 3 things go and how it all fits together, which, even for someone who knows where things go. And you can use this to explain about why do you need to wee when your baby's in here and how big this gets. You can use it to talk about the pelvic floor muscles, and then you can say 1, ek, 2, 10, 3 holes. So It also helps you explain how a baby's head. I don't need to tell this to someone who's like a gynecologist, but we've learnt a lot with this, and we've had a lot of fun with local communities, and I've used it with kids in class 10 and 9, so I've used this with 16, 17, 18 year olds. And the first time, it's like, wow, the first time I did it in a class, and I got them out and we played a game, and the boys were asking all the questions and the girls were asking questions, and at the end of it, one of the boys just went, wow, that's beautiful. And for me, that was like, that's what you want. You want respect. You can explain then how this uterus obviously needs to stay where it is. You can link it to uterine prolapse. So I wouldn't recommend that this was in every school because it's expensive, but I would recommend that and it would only be used maybe once or twice a year. One of the things we're going to be recommending is something like this is with the community health worker. So if you want to bring one, they're available on Amazon. They're about $70, $80. So feel free to bring your own, because if you want to just borrow it, that's great. But this might be a really cool gift to leave the people you're working with. We're working on how to use it guides, but there's no point knowing about your body if you don't have the products to help you manage your period. And connected to this, the last thing is that we have books on how to make schools better in terms of child-friendly teaching. Aidan Warlow works with Global Action Nepal, who's one of our key partners. And the project that we're working on now is going to this time next year, we'll have so much more to share, because we're reviewing all the education material and trying to pull it together so that people can pick out the right education material for their communities, because some people can't read and write, some people need radio, some people need visual. The mothers need something different from the younger girls. So the new version of this, which I don't have, has a very short page on menstruation, but we're going to be working on one to push it even further forward. So if you've got any more questions, you can Facebook me. Elevate are becoming sort of experts in this area. You can come and visit a shop when you're here. In fact, Beni should be here in March, and she will sit and talk to your group about how she has used the kits and the impact it's had. Because it doesn't just talk about menstruation, it opens up lots of questions and lots of discussion. And the most important thing that I think, especially when people are only coming in for a short period of time, is that you work with local partners to make sure that those conversations are being had. And it's so important to have a Nepalese person doing it, because you don't want to override their voice. You need to support them, and everything Elevate's doing, totally respectful. So, but look, they can choose their bags, the girls giggle. We've had David, who's from Wales, and he's Benny's husband. We've had him teaching people about it. He puts some knickers on his head, he makes it fun. He also includes sort of talking to the boys about respect. So it kind of is a whole package. So I highly recommend these. There are others. People in the USA and the UK and Australia make them and then send them over and donate them, which I think is good. But if they can be made locally, it's better, because then local women here are benefiting from economic employment. So I really wish I could be here in March. I'm keep trying to see if I can, but I'll be here in May. So namaste and thank you.
Dhanyabad.
Hola.